So now that we've created and cached our trail geometry, now it's time to work on the color and alpha values for this so we can start styling this to be the way we want. So I'm going to make a point VOP. And what we're going to do in the point VOP is we're going to create ramps for the color and the alpha value based on that UMAP attribute we had custom created and baked into our GeoTrails. So I'm going to wire this into here. I'm going to call this point VOP create CD and alpha. Turn on my colors, make this green, turn those off, and now we're going to dive into this VOP. So let me pull this over so we have some room here. What we're going to do is going to import a point attribute because we need to import our custom UMAP attribute. So I'll bring that up, bring up its parameters, and I'll change its signature to float, the input to first input, and the attribute is UMAP. Now I'm going to make a ramp. And then the first ramp here is going to be for color, so I'll call it color ramp, and then its name will be color ramp. Okay, cool. So we'll have the UMAP value drive that ramp. Now we're going to make another ramp. We'll have this be alpha ramp, and its name will be alpha ramp. And then this can be a spline ramp because it's just a float value. So we'll feed UMAP into both of these. And then color ramp, the output will drive just the overall geometry VOP CD input. And then we'll make a bind export with the attribute name alpha with a capital A. And that will create our alpha value. Okay, cool. So we've created a simple VOP with our two different ramps for color and alpha. And now we're going to enter some points on these ramps to get this styled right, which I have figured out ahead of time. So we're going to type these in. For the color ramp at 0, we're going to be full on white. And then at 0.04, we're going to do 0.9, 0.35, and 0.9. Our next point, we're going to drop in and change to 0.12, and that's going to be 0.90, 0.9. Our next point is going to be at 0.72, and this is going to be 0.0420 and 0.9. And then our final point, our point at 1, is going to be 0.0040, 0.082. Okay, so we have this white that fades into this pink and then eventually gets out to a dark blue. And now for our alpha ramp, our first point is actually going to be at 0.01, and that's going to be 0, just because I want it just to be absolutely 0 at the beginning and just a little in. And then we're going to set another point and make this 0.03 and make that 1. So it jumps up quite quickly to the full value. Let me open this ramp up a little bit so we can see it. And then our next point, we'll just drop one down and we'll change it to 0.8 position, and then its value is going to be 1. And then the final point on the ramp will just change the value to 0. And now I'll grab this point here, make it catmull-rom, and then the second one and make it catmull-rom, and then the first one I'll do the same just to smooth out those points. Okay, so now we have created some color attributes and some alpha attributes. So now we have this nice activity starting to happen and this nice effect really going on, because now we're starting to see some like really pretty results. We get this little kind of hot white emission point at the beginning of the lines, and then we fade into this fuchsia and then fade out to a dark blue. And then we also have an alpha value that's in there. So we have, you know, a little bit of fade out in the beginning and the ends of these lines. One other little thing we're going to do is, because we have carved the lines to be separate lengths, and I'm always looking to get another little bit of organic randomness into what we're going on, and Houdini is such a great environment for doing that. So we can see across all of these lines at any given point, they're still the same color. And so next up, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to create a system that automatically adds a little bit of randomness into the value and the hue shifting, so we get even more variety in our lines.